And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is game number 1 of our penultimate day here. Playday number 6 in APAC North. Stage 2 is DWG KIA versus FAV Gaming. Welcome back to the desk. I'm Milosh. I've got Ace and Jess. He's supposed to be a tavern keeper, an innkeeper. That's why he's dressed this way, by the way. We're here on the desk and we're about to talk about these two squads again. Korea versus Japan and DWG versus FAV. Going up first, it is DWG KIA. Let's see roster they have on the board ready for us today. And Ms. Bolden, I turn to you because I've been a huge fan of this squad through this year.
I have too, and what's really surprised me since we've gotten into stage 2 is that in stage 1 we were speaking Yas coded almost always. Every play day they were the ones that were stepping up. I mean, especially on Villa, which happens to be one of their favorite maps, coded was goated. Every time the play day you used to say Yas always was hitting the top leaderboards. And now I get to sort of talk about Woogie Man, Rin a bit more. I'm not entirely sure what this change is. I haven't been alerted to that particular change today, so we'll get back to you once we have a little bit more information about that one. But what I can tell you at the moment is that DWG KIA are looking hot. If there is a change today, that might stuff up my predictions just a little bit, and we're all just a little bit upset if that's the case. But who knows? Who knows? That's a change that we can talk about a little bit later. But the round performance is the one that you're looking for. Past couple of games haven't been too shabby. Okay, they hit the OT in a couples, but that's okay at the moment. They're getting the points up there and they're getting that top 4 spot, especially if they win today. I'm
definitely interested in that change. Katsang, of course, it is who's absent from the roster today and fills an important role. Yes. And by that I mean one that's difficult to replace. It's not like you're just trying to send somebody into gun. Katsang does many different things. But looking at the FAV roster that we've got here, of course, some big names coming through. Number 2 particularly going well so far this season. Obviously, as Jess touched on earlier in play of the day, they need to be more careful. Afro particularly, come on, get your drones going as far as they should be. But overall, I mean, Afro's had a good season. Shin as well, always very important inside of the squad. It's a team that have been sort of up and down for me. They came out really strong at the beginning of the stage, and we were sort of waiting for that honeymoon period to die down, and I'm not sure it has. I'm not going to go that far as to say that it has, but we've started to see that there are losses there for them. But look at the 2 losses, Cyclops and Fnatic. The 2 teams that you wouldn't necessarily just expect to come in and beat. So this for me is an important play day for FAV here. This is the time now to say, right, yeah, it was Cyclops and Fnatic that we lost to, but we're beating everybody else. We're coming through and we've probably lost to 1st and 2nd place there, which really isn't then the end of the world for FAV. So today, very important against DWG KIA, and especially with that roster change, which I think could be difficult. Obviously, we don't know the circumstances, but it could be difficult for DWG KIA to play without Katsang just on the fly. So I'm kind of glad that I've gone for FAV on my prediction now.
We'll have more information on that, I hope, in a bit, because that might mess us up. Anyways, it happens. We'll let you know. Though our head-to-head for this game is 1 player out of each one of these 2 teams, and here they are: Coated and K-Razor. Comparisons. Go ahead.
Well, the reason at the very bottom of your screen we've picked cost and plants is because I had to pick the biggest planter from both of these teams, and I also want to correlate it with how successful some of these teams have been, or their win conditions, in particular attacking rounds. For example, on DWG KIA, they always idealize that objective play where they can on sites, whereas FAV, they like to end on eliminations more often than not. So for me, being able to compare these 2 players in their effectiveness, K-Razor actually has a larger cost than Coded, even though Coded is being able to tick the box of objective more times than not. He'll oftentimes tick the box of survival as a result of that, so on and so forth. The KD, for me, isn't relevant. That's not their role, that's not their goal. And as a result now, we're sort of comparing the kind of play style of 2 sort of supportive players. I'm not sure what you take away from this, Ace, but...
No, it's a funny one when you look at it, especially when you're looking for that big difference in the cost there. You have to assume that a lot of that is going to come down to trades, because there's not a huge difference in their kills. We do have more kills on the side of K-Razor, which plays in perfectly to what you're saying about FAV looking for those eliminations rather than the objective play more often than not, whereas DWG KIA, over the last 3 games, 2 plants, 1 plant, 2 plants. So, you know, they're planting about 30% of the time on their attacking rounds over the last few play days at least. Coated has had a bit of a tough stage, it's fair to say, but we have seen that improvement over the last few weeks with him being able to get that diffuser down. Again, we'll see how the roster changes just affect that today. Is there going to be the same support? Is there going to be the same cover in place? The same preparedness to get those diffusers down?
I do have an update.
Oh, go ahead.
Roy Boy, the coach from DWG Kia, is playing today because Katsang is sick. So Katsang, get well soon. We hope that you're back and ready for our next Playday next Wednesday.
Yep.
That is the
Health
final
is most important.
Absolutely.
Yep. So take a break. Make sure you're ready to go, and we will see you hopefully competing next week. That said, our map for the series is ready. Let's see what it is. And we'll go through. FAV will ban Clubhouse and leave us with Villa, where they have to start on the attack as Damwon are picking defense. Let's talk about this. We have a couple minutes to get through it as the lobby's being readied up, so go ahead.
Whew. I mean, they had a choice between Clubhouse. Okay, fair enough that you go to Villa, but let us not forget that the kings of Villa, especially around stage 1, was DWG Kia. That was the map that they idealized going to almost always, if you remember. Rin was the dominator of red stairs. You could almost never remove them from that position unless you had used almost every bit of utility from over towards connector. I'm looking over at FAV, however, and it's not a surprise that they kind of want to go there. They haven't lost it in the past few months at all. They have an almost perfect record on it. So if you want to take DWG Kia to one of their favorite maps, I have 16 plays since February the 1st that DWG Kia have on this map. It is their most favored by far, and they have about a 70% win rate as a result. So this, if you ever want to go to someone's best map and show them that you're the boss, FAV have done it.
Oh, damn, dude.
I know.
I mean, looking, as you say, even just at stage 2, FAV have already played it. They've already won it. They were very, very solid on defence. My concern for DWG Kia is we've never seen them in stage 1 or 2 have a really consistent run of wins, of victories. And I've said this over the last couple of weeks. I think they're a great team. I think they can go further. They've been closing games out better. They've been getting them shut down, whereas previously they've let them slip from maybe, getting up to the 5 and 6 round mark and then letting teams come back into it. They've been sort of dealing with that, but I just have that feeling that DWG Kia are ready for a wobble, and I think that FAV on Villa could be a bit wobbly.
I don't know.
Gotta take it to the garage.
It's going to be a clash of play styles as well, you have to remember, is because FAV, as I said, like to end their rounds on eliminations, especially on attack. And then if you remember back historically, they may have changed it ever so slightly, but I doubt they've altered too much. They set up really strategical. Think about the shields on map table. Think about the angle Coded has from Aviator all towards red, across fire for Rin, placing a triple ADS on red stairs. I mean, the setup that they have is integrated with a lot of utility. This means that FAV is going to have to either get rid of it or have the swings of their life today.
It's as you said, a super tough one to call today because Roy Boy is setting in. As we said,
he only has to take flex frag though, so that's a good role to take if you have to fill in.
We'll see what the coach does stepping in today's. Katsang is sick. We wish him the best. Hopefully he can come back and play in our final play day. But DWG Kia, all the pressure is on them today to try to progress higher up as FAV. You know what? They might have an easier day because of this. Jess, Tim, thank you so very much. We're going to toss it to Villa. It's time to go to Tuscany, ladies and gentlemen, and we've got Hapadam to take us through it. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, and yes, we will be heading over. Is it coming, Rome? Well, it already has, and maybe it will a second time. This is a very good map for DWG Kia, and that's a little bit dangerous for FAV.
Yeah, definitely so, but there is, of course, that change that is on the horizon. Oh no. That's unfortunate. Either way, yes. There's also more on the line here that wasn't really discussed. I think that the winner between these two games will be securing themselves to the APAC playoffs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, currently DWG found themselves on an 86%. There's FAV that was on 75-ish%. This game is a very big decider in it because, first of all, you only put yourself 3 points ahead of the team that just finished below you. And then look at the scoreboard here, right?
I'm looking.
See, Talon currently 5 to 8, so that's already 3 points behind. So if FAV win, then Talon is out of reach. Means only Guts could be in reach in that case. But if DWG win, they put themselves 4 points ahead of FAV. And that means that they cannot be overtaken anymore in that case. So DWG can secure themselves their playoffs.
It's dramatic. It's a very dramatic game.
It's very dramatic.
That's the main thing that we're focusing on here right now is it's this battle of 3rd and 4th, but you have all these battles that are happening just underneath from very talented teams that have the chance to pull some points away from each other. So depending on who pulls points, it's either going to mean you get overtaken or you find yourself suddenly very close with a single Playday left. There's a lot of importance on this game, and this, as you said, could really dictate how things start to sliver and slander towards the end.
Definitely so. And as I just said, like, if Damwon win, they secure themselves their playoff spot. If FAV win, they are getting ever so closer to do exactly that. However, not quite 100% secured yet.
Standard set removals. So far, I think obviously the Flores, it's new, but it makes sense. You're looking at Villa as a map that can play very well to his strengths. You're looking at a lot of tight corners. The Goyo gone as well. I think as soon as that Flores left, it's a particular ban against DK because they like to play with Goyo. They like to extend with Goyo. But also it's a fair removal because, you know, without the Flores, that can go very unchecked, or it can become a big utility burn if you're looking towards, you know, sort of study door, if you're, or that battle across on the backside of red, if you're looking at the swing down the long corridor, or, you know, it's just dangerous.
Yeah, definitely so. Aviator Games is just a side where the Goyo really has a lot of range. If you manage to fill that side up with a lot of shields, it is going to be very difficult to attack. Because FAV is bringing somewhat of an unusual lineup, you would say. And it's a line, it's a Nuck. Doe could be coming out. Really seems to be focused on clearing out these potential roamers and getting a sneak up. Damwon KIA, who are, of course, under a bit more pressure now. Playing on a good map for them, but their coach is substitute in. Katsang being sick, so wish him all the best. Hope he recovers quickly. Yeah. And let's see if Roy Boy has what it takes to secure the playoff spot for Damwon KIA, together with the rest of the team, of course.
Okay, so let's see if their game against, as you said, the sort of play against the roam. When a team bans a Jackal on a map like Villa, which has a lot of space, and it's a team like DK that do love to go a little bit exploratory, that do love to go a little bit on an adventure around the map to see what else they can find, you have to have something that can control that. Or, in the best case, you have to have something that plays against their intel game. Something that can sort of sit in a position that's, you know, maybe at the top of red stairs, or maybe, if you want to go really wide with it, playing around sort of Astro area, just so when that body does try and find its way back round to get a little bit of danger on the back of the push, there's someone there waiting, someone there ready, because you expect it and you need to have that semblance of control.
Definitely so. Now FAV is putting up some pressure towards the bathroom and the bedroom. There's Damwon KIA that tries to hold back for now, just holding these angles. Rin, of course, as mentioned before, managed to dominate this map earlier when they played it last. He picks up one of those ADSs, knows that they might have to move soon, and that ADS is worth more on the actual site then than lost on this spot. And the grenade will be coming in just to make sure that the wall will be opened up, and X-Kairos will do so exactly. As Rin just running underneath the E1D, doesn't really seem to care, of course, knew that no one was in a position that they could strike instantly.
Yeah, it's a frustrating amount of sort of buzzing and whirring and burring and all those other words of things that, oh no, they're trying to do everything to control our own game, to tail us back towards the site and try and take the fight in what is a very boxy sort of space. You do like to extend when you're Damwon KIA in this sort of situation because it's what your team is good at. It's where your team starts to explore and starts to do a lot of damage back in. You can see, as I said, the highlight of those shields, how they would sort of otherwise play for Damwon KIA. They're instead playing them with standard sort of shields. They bought the double to try and get the swing in and get that little bit the width, but Shin drops down a level and is going to head underneath, get a rotation. This angle held onto the right of the door could be a big problem for them. It's Roy Boy, and obviously it's the pickup. There's another call. There's Coated on the stairs to swing round two. The grenade is going to be the attempt at the catch, but it's underneath and it doesn't quite get the full kill on Woogie Man.
We're allowed to play really freely here on the main entrance door. No one there has opened it up. Not a single piece of pressure is being emitted on him. Damwon KIA can just hold off for now. There's 50 seconds left then. Shin and number 2 are about to move in. If Royboy manages to stay push here, or stay hidden rather, he has the opportunity to go for a great double kill. There we go. 1, 2, managed to get 1. Oh, and is it going to go for the second as well? Not the injure. The Nook had no ID. Royboy's allowed to go for that double kill. K-Razor is down in the meantime as well, but will be picked up, and we find ourselves in a 2 and 3 situation.
Just a little bit of missed intel led to a big disaster there, and what a strike from Royboy, playing an off position, and they're going to have to try and dig their way through. They've got themselves inside, they're going for the split, but Woogieman is in. He locks off the gun vault, and now it's an easy pickup there. Royboy, hey man, how you going to do? I don't know, how's a 3K on the opener for you?
And a bit of a struggle in the first kill, trying to secure the sledge who dropped down first. And for some, I have no clue what went through the mind of the Nook. It was just, he looked at him, I was like, let me move up the stairs afterwards. Probably thought he killed him or something like that, because the kill feed was coming in. 2 kills did happen. But then again, Royboy able to pick up that double kill, securing the red stairs, securing that flank that could have come in and completely destroyed FAV. It's a great start. It's a great opening to that first round. You got to keep in mind, Villa is a defense side of map, so you really urge to win your defensive rounds. And if you wouldn't have gotten that double kill, it might have gone completely different.
I think that's the sort of moment there, as you look at all of the utility that was in the pockets of FAV, it should have been a bit of an easy pickup. Attack is where they have struggled in the past, and sure, the first kill was shaky from Royboy, but you sort of need a little bit of the shaky first kill and then still, you know, getting the kill on that, because that settles you. It gets your sort of legs ready for the game. It brings you back into the pace of what you're expecting, because the kill on the third one was, okay, yeah, I can sort of get into this aggressively. It warms you up to the fight. It's what Pengu sort of said, or it might be Fabian the other day who said, with the first rounds, wherever you play them, they're dangerous because you're not warmed up, you're not ready. Almost suffered because of it, but still a very important double there for someone who's just warming up and almost a little bit too hot.
Yeah, definitely so. Rotation, or at least a couple of shots being tossed into the pantry window, will deal some damage to Royboy. For now, he lives. A lot of verticalities made here by Yas, able to stop any of these default plants, potentially get a Nitro up. We do have currently 2 of them playing below. That is Yas and Royboy, both with that Nitro available. And Shin looking through the window. A grenade will be tossed through that might be able to catch Woogieman off. At least we'll be able to take the Muture. And no, it's going to be the ADS. And there's a second one, so if he throws another grenade, that will be picked up. That's very unfortunate, but that is 2 grenades out of pocket, meaning there's only 2 left onto the hands of number 2. That is going to be making it a little bit safer here for DWG KIA.
Yeah, at this point, it's a blow to the utility, and they're going to have to do a very long creep up to see if they can put some fight in. Hey, Malusi, sort of caught unaware. There's one more that's playing just around the corner here inside the covered room. Shin is able to get the pick up, and that puts them in a 2 versus 5. A great aggressive take and response there to the missed utility early on, but they've still got to try and fight their way up. And Coated, well, he's going to go down, gets a great take and a drop there, but they'll have the call that that's a body that's off site, slightly further away. They're not too far away, but if that's relayed to the bodies that were at the time pushing around the bedroom, they might be able to dig their way through. They've got the pincer on the stairs, they've got the lock off, and now they've just got Woogieman left to try and dig through, and so much time. Another call comes through, and there's the ping, there's the flashes, and there is that rain of hell, and Woogieman can only really sit and wait for a moment before he tries to strike, but Afro is the one to make sure the iron is hot in his hands.
It's not much he could have done there, as he was the only one left, and it was a very quick roam clear coming in from FAV Gaming. That really made it such so that DWG KIA wasn't really able to hold on to it, and that's exactly what I was talking about last round. If they didn't have the double kill from Royboy at the very start, that wouldn't have been a DWG KIA round. And now FAV able to shut 2 players down on the bottom floor, 1 on the top floor very quickly, find themselves in a great advantage, and instantly managed to pick up the round as a result. A 1v4 situation. Only 1 dropped by Coated, who dropped down the hatch. That is something you won't be able to get a full round from. Or 5 kills, rather. And now we're going to the kitchen and the dining area. Dirt Tree side to come out. We are continuing the rotation. Damwon KIA will see if they can take a win on this one before they're allowed to go back towards Aviator Games.
It's those little moments from the FAV attack that do have little instances of worry. Obviously, the 2 grenades that tried to find their way in through Astro window that were both eaten by ADSs, that's a bit of a worry. Because of what we know of FAV and because of what we know of their shortcomings when they haven't quite been able to connect their attack rounds previously, when things haven't quite been able to sort of connect in those similar ways. But at the same time, obviously, their then sort of rapid push, their realization of, well, we're not going to take it there, and the pace that they then just applied themselves to Damwon KIA was, I guess, the response that sometimes we've been waiting for in the previous weeks. So although I can say I have these concerns of these previous attacks from FAV, it's fantastic to see them on what can be a very big, slow map, taking this pace and this initiative.
It definitely is. Also just got word that if Damwon KIA wins this, it's not only Dam that's confirmed, it's also Fnatic in that case that is confirmed for the top 4. So only Guts and FAV will be fighting for that last final spot to be out. So there will be another team rooting for them here today. As FAV is trying to make sure that that won't happen, trying to put themselves into a better position where it's not Dam that is on the edge of being knocked out. Either way, FAV on the balcony need to get some top floor control. It is kitchen dining. They need to use that verticality or hit the side directly. And K-Razor is looking to do exactly that. Just burning the Aruni laser gates already. Thinking about potentially opening up the breach, but the mute jammers will be making that difficult. And as the calls are coming out from the Dokkaebi at the same time, they do have a, well, somewhat clue of where all these players are.
Well, Rin's going for the slow creep up from underneath to see if they can punish them before the push comes through. So they've got to see if they can make it work. They've crept their way in, and number 2 has been able to light up even more. There goes Coated. And now Rin finds themselves even more scarpered. Look at this. It's the plant going down. It's the use of that utility on the push when they actually hit the execute of the site, and the build behind it, a miss moment there. Number 2 is able to get one more. Yas from deep gets at least the first, but cannot find the second, and that is 2 in a row for FAV. And that's a FAV that's built a bit of confidence, but they have such an echoing plethora of utility on those executes that those loose players, those roamers, were just completely blindsided and so far away from having an impact.
That's it, right? One round they completely shut down all the roamers. This time they managed to overrun the site, and now you're wondering, as Damwon KIA, what can we do? Because when we roam, we can either get shut down or they hit the side directly, and we're just not winning out these gunfights. We're not winning out these duels because of the fact that they're having that, well, trade system. Even if we take down one, there's 2 more that will fill the place. And then you think back at the one round that was won on the back of a starting double kill of Roy. We'd like to see more out of him of that, if it helps Damwon KIA to secure their major spot here. And Fanatics. But FAV, of course, want to make sure that they are the ones to go into that fight in the lead, because there will still be another Playday after this. It's not over yet, and that means that it will be Guts, it will be Damwon KIA, and it will be FAV just all fighting for that final spot, where it is going to be a very exciting day, where every result will count. And, you know, there is like billions of scenarios that could happen, but there's always that scenario that could happen in the first game and then everything is decided, which is usually the one that happens when I work out all the numbers, so I'm not going to do it this time. Either way, FAV doing very well on their attack so far. They have picked up 2 of those rounds, and that is considered the minimum you want to get on a map as Villa if you want to go in for a good matchup. And they've got it. See if they can continue on from here. See if they can end their 2-loss streak.
I mean, it's that sort of worrying moment, I think, when you're starting to have these rounds slip away. It was a good opener from them, but you're looking at the players that you kind of want a little bit of stepping up here, and Yas is one of them, Rin's the other. Neither of them have really been able to get themselves in, and it was one of the highlights that we said about Damwon KIA on this map, is their defense was good. It was a great place for them to sort of play. It was a map that often, when it was on the boards and on the cards, especially leading in on their defense, you would expect them to take it. But here, with the unfortunate, obviously, falling ill in the pickup of the swap in, it's become a little bit too much pressure, a little bit too much of a mantle at first. Afro is able to take care of Roy Boy this time. No surprise strike round from the opposite side. Rin's still on the board, and again, they're a player that if you want them to sort of start building into this, they're an important name that needs to try and step up and put some bodies down, and here could be a good moment as the collapse comes just over the flat side. They're being steady and cautious about it, taking the cams and getting a little bit of control here with a click. Now, can they break past these two split bodies?
That is going to be the big question. They do have a little bit more of information available to them now. Of course, no custom chems, as in like Evil Eyes, Yoka Drones, or Black Eyes that they would have anything for. That's all 3 ADSs just placed on the red stairs. But Rin deciding to go for a rotate here, might be walking into one of those spots. Doesn't seem to be the case, and the E1D gets popped out, and the push from 90 is about to be underway as Woogieman will be able to pick up the first kill, and K-Razor unable to respond.
Great play there from Woogieman. Took the body and pulled back to make sure that they weren't suffering in the meantime. It was a fantastic response. You can see the pings of intel are coming through. They have a good idea, but it's a bit of a split push here. Shin has gone a bit further wide, still has an arrow apiece to see if they can try and get some cover on the push, but otherwise they're all out of E1Ds, so it's going to have to be a very aggressive swing here. The flashes start to burn. K-Razor's trying to get themselves just to sneak past, but the spray starts to come through on the opposite side. Pre-fires, hits one of those false folk, and now as the Lion digs through, they're going close round. They just see the sliver, but Woogieman is able to somehow pull it apart. Type on goes down. They can't quite get control of the alibi that's utilizing those fantastic bits of cover. A misthrown flash doesn't quite get them the success that they want, and all behind the billiards table, he's just able to repeatedly pocket them. Shin creeps their way in, looks for the close kill, hits the legs, but doesn't get the confirmation rim from deep. K-Razor gets the down, cannot get the swing round. And DWG KIA get their second.
Really unfortunate there that you weren't able to get the down onto the Jaeger in that corner. Definitely saw the hips, was trying to fire on it. However, ran a little bit quicker on the response there. DWG KIA will be able to win their second round, but it was only Aviator. They still need to find rounds elsewhere if they want to be pushing this up to a 4-2 split, which is definitely something they should be looking for. Trophy stats coming up next. See the Frost making an appearance, might be 6 picked out, as of course it was shown from the start. Some teams do not want to do that. So it is the Maestro that will be making way to a Cade. All right, I was going to say, it might be Maestro to Maestro, but it is Cade that will be coming into play, and will probably be tossed up on that triple wall, of course, making sure that that one will stay closed for as long as possible. Make sure that these X-Kairos do not have any business getting out there. Of course, a quick grenade could be solving the issue. However, you could, theoretically, go down to the bottom floor and put the Electroclaw up in the kitchen. So they need to clear that out if they want to breach that wall.
Now the problem, DWG KIA, I pose to you, is how do you win a second site? To be fair, you've only tried your other two once apiece. You didn't double down and lose one of them twice, so you have the chance to have a little bit of growth, because if you get a little bit too stuck and blinkered by the idea of being able to lock one off, well, at least now you have a bit of fresh legs coming into it. You've got a round win under your belt again. You've only lost this once. Said you have some of that sort of potential to build around and behind. I'm curious to see if you go as deep underneath as you did before, where you lost a lot of bodies quite early, or, as it seems right now, you're more up top. You've gone with a bit of flat here. You want to try and hold the push off, similar to how you were successful in your AVG holds. All of the fights happened around the site itself, or very close to, just at the bottom of the stairs, just at the top of red. Here, before, you had a big extension underneath, and I like that seemingly currently, you've limited that a bit.
Definitely limited it, just ever so slightly. Rin just closing off these doors, but FAV deciding to go for a different approach, and the frost mats are still being put down. Shin opens up, bit of a line of sight into Memorial. Now opens up as well into the dining. Doesn't seem like anybody's down here, so you might just have some free reign. You can use these grenades to try and land them underneath some of the players inside of Trophy Stat Tree.
That's it, but That's better. Giving them this bit of a land instead of handing them those sort of firefights, which we know that they've been very punched on, where they're able to take 3 bodies before they even started their collapse towards the site right now. So instead, they're going to try and dig their way underneath, gets the claw, and gets the ADS as well, which will allow K-Razor to start opening up these angles, make that area around Astro, where you've got coded, a much tighter return to form here.
Was Electric Claw placed on there again, but the X-Kairos exploded right before the Electric Claw went off and take out the Electric Claw as well as a result. So no more utility left there for the Cade to try and stop any further breaching from happening. All that they can do now is just hope that they're not being cut down like...
Oh.
Well, it's a good flick onto number 2, I'm sure of it. Was able to, first of all, cut down Yas, then as well got number 2. So it's Spooky Nuck, so he might not have known that...
I'm curious if number 2 was on the jump-in window on the split on the far side, like it was just behind the firefight that they just had and sort of lost it there. I don't know if it was a flick. I think it was more the last bullets won you out. But here, the push around, it's the Frostmat that gets a bit of revenge there. They were still able to get the kill, but traded out, and it puts you into this 3 versus 2 situation. Damwon Kia is able to bring the body balance back, and then they do a little bit more. 2 Frostmats. Other punishment here, and
it was at the back there at the concrete door. There was a Banshee, and you saw him move to the left, and then he never appeared again. So he probably just got stuck in the Frostmat over at the concrete door. 3-2, however, Damwon Kia are bringing it back after losing 2 attacking rounds very early on. You can see it in the live rankings, bumped back up to 2nd place. If they continue this, they will secure themselves and Fnatic a spot in the playoffs.
Now, if I'm going to sort of highlight how I liked the changes of the defense based on how they lost and how they were able to bring it back to that more sort of flat, solid angle. They didn't give them this massive isolated play space underneath and sort of say, well, here's 3 bodies, and they took them. Here, it was sort of a slightly different story, and I'm curious to see, because I think this one's a tougher fix. It was... Yas and it was Rin that were on these deep roams, and FAV just punched their way through onto the site. They were quick. And to sort of try and guess that game, if it's going to be the same game from FAV, and punish it means that you also have to be quick. You have to be ready to strike in those situations, because they still had 3 bodies on the site. They were set up and ready, and it just means that Rin and Yas have to be in positions where they might be able to get there quicker. But that's, I think, a tougher ask than sort of saying, everybody come back to the site, we'll meet them here. You got to say, well, go out, but like, be a bit more ready, please.
That's a little bit of help, of course, given by the execution of number 2 that we saw from Shin. Nice little one-tap. I believe he was maybe entering from Art Studio. I think he punched the door because he wasn't at the window. I quickly checked afterwards. He might have punched that door, and then we saw the quick response and a one-tap on it. Because what we saw before is that someone tried to run out from there. So it might have just been a quick audible response, a bit of communication that was lacking there. Either way, 2 of the Frostmats going off big as well with Damwon Kia. Now, they decided to not run Frost again. Might be because it is probably not going to be working twice in a row. Might have, you know, FAV might have expected it was going to be 6 big down, which wasn't the case. They're definitely going to be well aware of it now. They're going to be checking everything with drones or their faces to see if there is still going to be that Frostmat, because if you lose 2 players in a round like that, that is not going to be very helpful.
Well, I think that's the thing about it, is when you have this lineup, this group of attackers coming for you, having the Frost, having potentially a cap can or something else that can sort of buy you a bit more time, put a little bit more fear in them, and in the best case scenario, pop off. We just saw 2 Frostmats catch 2 different victims. You could still have some damage done by cap cans, and you know, it gets you that little bit more safety here. Yas and Woogieman are stacked up on the stairs, waiting for the pressure to come through. The gate's been burnt, but there hasn't been an immediate follow-up, and I think the wasting of time here and the sort of pulling out utility from FAV is much better. Granted, early on, FAV's utility usage wasn't fantastic, but those precious E1Ds are the main thing that they're sort of getting rid of at this moment in time. And currently, FAV, they're trying to find, and I think this response from DK, look at the positioning of Yas, look at the positioning of Rin. They're trying to be more aggressive. They're trying to be quicker to adapt to the dangers that are coming.
Definitely so, and whilst FAV is trying to hammer down onto the defenses of Damwon Kia, they are using a lot of their utility. Oh, and that is going to be a Nitro Cell to come in. Roy Boy, that is Shin off the board, and that is the Sledge. That is going to be very big, because now it's going to be very difficult to open up these vertical angles. And then you look at what they have left. Absolutely nothing. They cannot open it up with anything else. Maybe with the DMR, the Afro carries, because it does, of course, have that higher caliber in terms of the caliber-based restriction system that Siege has. But that's about it. There is no quick opening. There is no quick slam of the hammer to... well, make sure they can find an angle on one of these players downstairs. That's going to be making it harder for FAV. What they need to do now is just pull that trigger. That's literally it. And, oh, he might be hiding right behind the Prisma.
He is. And that is dangerous.
Oh.
There it is. Great reaction there. Waited for the perfect moment. The calls came out, realized that he's going to get swung, so be the swinger. Rin goes down in the meantime, but it's Typon that's also suffering out. Coated gets so low, but without securing it, that's the big play right now. Instead, they're able to pick up somebody else in the meantime, but there's an alibi low, and they're able to just take that out. It's a 2 versus 1 versus 1. As they're obviously still down, but no time. Yas swings it anyway. And Damwon Kia secure themselves the 4-2.
And suddenly there was Yas, the man who is on top of the APAC North standings, the best current rated player. Bit of a slow start in the half, but definitely makes up for in this round, where he manages to, well, it's technically a 1v3 clutch that he managed to pull off. And Damwon Kia have salvaged the round, or half rather, as they lost 2 rounds on their defense by round number 3. That is not very comfortable if you're on your defense. That is not something you'd look forward to. But they managed to salvage it. It's 4-2. That is the best possible outcome they could have hoped for after that round 3. And it's the outcome they got. And I'm very glad to see Roy Boy actually doing quite well. He's getting some kills here and there. Of course, it started all with the big triple kill, which secured them round number 1, and now had a very important Nitro kill onto the Sledge as well. Definitely pulling his weight now.
What we're seeing as well, obviously, is that sort of exploration of the rolls. And now, as Jess sort of pointed out, he's on that flex frag roll. He's going to bring the buck, see if they can get underneath and cause some damage and some chaos otherwise. And this is where we might start to see some of the, stumblings, because it's sometimes tougher on Villa to get your attacks threaded together to sort of get that control, especially when you're playing with somebody who's stepping in to the roster on late notice and seeing if you can get behind it and running things on the sort of day against an enemy like FAV, who can be quite explosive and can be quite reactive. It was great how we saw that from Damwon Kia on their defenses, but trying to formulate that control on your attacks on Villa isn't easy.
Definitely isn't. Now they need to make it happen. They're bringing out the Lion themselves as well, but that's basically it. The rest is more of a usual kind of setup. All flashes are being tossed in to get rid of that shield. Gone 6 is used as well. Boogeyman. Use that PC utility. Now it's just 3 flashbangs, but also 3 1Ds available to him. So pretty good util usage for now. And probably these will be used on the Aruni laser gates whenever they get the opportunity to. Flank drones are being set up to try and find out if someone will be entering inside a study from the main stairs door. Now Roy Boy will start the mission of opening up everything he can find and hopefully finding an angle on one of these players.
That really isolates number 2. The main thing to sort of look towards here is Afro still had all of his discs in pocket, and if he can sort of try and swing those, he's just picked one back up and got himself fully stocked. K-Razor is under the first fight, and the impression swings round onto one. They killed themselves because they were downed whilst holding the grenade, picks up the second as well. And if I'm going to compliment how DK were able to swing into the firefights, there is an example of how well FAV can do it too. Dropping the man with the grenade was always that sort of play, and that pick and reacting to them rather than the Zofia led to success. Roy Boy, he's going to try and creep his way back up the stairs for some revenge. Gets an early pick and is going to try and swing around onto the second, but the Mozzie reacts faster. Number 2 pulls back into sight. They're in a 3 versus 1 situation at this moment in time. Woogie Man has a lot of time, but a long sight line towards a diffuser no longer in hand. They still have Echo drones. They still have a C4. They still have, a lot to work with.
Definitely didn't expect a third member to be down on top of those red stairs, and Boogeyman now taking his time. Has 40 seconds, 43 even, to try and make something happen. And they might be using this as a bit of a timeout to just talk about what they can do next. Something obviously went wrong, and you know, they had the right idea. They wanted to clear out the man on top of the stairs, but the frag grenade bounced back after he was taken out by a couple of the shots. Wasn't able to land into the right position and thus killed himself. A double kill came through basically from K-Razor. Was for Royboy that managed to strike back, but the Mozzie still on top of those main stairs, able to wreak some havoc. And that means that FAV are going to be able to win their first offensive round. Puts us at a 4-3. Damwon KIA still in the lead for now. We're going to trophy room, stature next. Now, there was a lot of good stuff in the attack. You could see it. You know, they wanted to get rid of the guy on the main stairs. They did so by using an impact, or concussion rather, to stun him out, and then quickly wanted to get a grenade in from the other side. However, it was well read by, I believe it was K-Razor, who just swung to the left, knew that the grenade was going to be coming in. If he didn't take him out, he would be dead confirmed. And did exactly that. Managed to get that kill and secure a double in the end, which really crippled the attack and the approach of Damwon KIA. This eventually led to the downfall. Just basically a double kill like we saw in round number 1, even though the round number 1 one was a bit more secretive, you can say. It was Royboy hiding in the corner, waiting for the rest to pass by. Royboy, by the way, who is stop fragging at this very moment for Damwon KIA. Together with Boogeyman, of course.
Yeah, I mean, if you want someone to step in, that sort of role is the best too, because it's not that it requires as much structure, but the stuff that you have to pull off, like the sledge work or like the buck work, is go buck this, go sledge this. It wasn't the, you know, synchronicity that we saw as the take on the top of the main sort of staircase, where they had to try and swing with the grenade behind the Sphere at the same time the Lions got the cover. No, you can be a little bit separate and work on your own momentum.
Can we get that end of round replay again? I just want to quickly see something. I don't know if it's possible. If production is...
You're pushing them further than they've ever been
Production is willing to give me that. I think the grenade... Unfortunate. Well, I thought the grenade bounced back at the railing on the stairs, but I'm not sure if that was the case. Can we get the end of round replay again, please, production? Of previous round.
You thought the grenade bounced back?
I think it bounced back. Because
I saw them holding it, but I didn't see the throw.
Oh, it's going to come up soon. In the meantime, we'll just talk about the round.
Yeah, and it's a pretty quick approach, but they haven't really been able to punish anything. I say, just as Yas gets the kill, here we go, it in slow motion.
See, it throws it and it goes back.
It bounces off. Okay, let's quickly go back to the actual game.
Back to the action.
Okay, nothing else has happened there. So we just, before we went back to watch that grenade mishap, we'd seen them, and I was going to comment, it's dangerous. The opening that they had there. Dangerous. And they tried to swing against it and was instantly punished. And you're thinking, okay, that's a wall that people will spend a lot of time fighting to open. You led with it open to potentially get a bit of surprise, and it hasn't worked. But look who you've lost. Your smoke is gone. You now have a much more kind of worrying hold here across the bathroom, which is usually where they sort of stick in and dig their mantle. You have this area now that's falling under their sort of control. DK, they've been handed a lot of space here, and
yeah,
it's kind of worrying.
Well, it's not too uncommon to have that wall open, but it often is in tandem with a castle that is playing on that wall, or a clash that will be blocking off the line of sight. So it can be used to try and challenge. However, right now there's nothing like it. And the openings will be made as well. Lines of sight are being created. The one thing to keep in mind, though, is there are still 2 nitros on the board here for FAV, and they're trying to use these yokai drones to guide them in, but it's Royboy and Rin both for the kill. And suddenly there's not much you can do. There is going to be that nitro that comes out. It's going to be the missed opportunity. And Royboy hurrying up to the stairs, getting that kill, leaving only Shin in a post plant in a 1v5 situation.
I mean, it was a great take on what I think was a not fantastically sort of
set up site.
As you said, you can do those sort of openings, but you have to have a back line there, and they just handed them a free route through. They handed a team that can be great on the executes, a lot of space, and they sort of said, well, we can take it, and all they really had to show for it was a body that was on Astro stairs, and then a body that was lying behind the stuffed deer. And in that sort of moment, you're thinking, okay, well, what else was there? You had the echo, sure, but you know that they've been playing this sort of line, you know that they've been swinging behind it. I mean, these things happen. Dining room and kitchen, there's still the chance for them to sort of pull back. They're not on death's door yet, Fav, but your defenses on Villa need to be where you're at your strongest, especially when you're fighting this close towards the end. So can you build something here down in the kitchen?
If they do manage to, then we're back to a one-round deficit for them. If they don't, then Damwon Kia will find themselves a singular point, and considering the fact that they are already equal on points with FAV, or actually one above, they will be on the maximum of it, equalized at the end of the day. Of course, they would lose the head-to-head if FAV will be taking this in an overtime victory, but at least it secures himself just a little bit further, because if I'm pulling up these rankings live, we do have Guts currently on 7, so both these teams could be on 10 at the end of the day. And if then Guts plays against Fnatic and still against Cyclops, so they have 2 very, very difficult days ahead. It's definitely not impossible for them to win, but it would be definitely good for both these teams in that case. Either way, it's not over yet. We're not even on a point where overtime might be reached because we don't even have a team yet that is currently on 6 points. Breach, however, will be made. Shields are still being put down by FAV. It's quite a bit of a late setup to, well, still do these shields now. We've already created a very long angle through the pantry. Shin trying to find out as much information as he possibly can. The EMP will be coming in and will disable. Well, I believe that is going to be a mute jammer. Not quite sure if the Iruni laser gate got disabled as well. No, has not been.
No, so they're able to sort of ping that and say, well, we've got to get through that. It does have 3 flashes in pocket if push comes to shove, but with that wall open, they're instead going to see if they can drive through and apply the pressure here. There is Shin, however, holding the angle with Yump, is able to take care of Yas, suffers a lot, and that's obviously Thatcher on the board, but they've been able to get probably one of the most important walls open. I'm curious if they tried or wanted to do anything on the pantry side as well, but I guess we'll have to find out a little later. In the meantime, DK, they're going on a big pickup and rotation round above. They've been able to force them out of that sort of comfort on the main core of the site. They've still got to look towards that hatch and the control above, though, if they want to try and sneak that plant in.
Nitro potentially from Shin, soon to come in. Of course, it's concrete, it's indestructible, and instead tosses it in where Royboy was working. And kills not coming in yet, of course, just a singular one. Grenade will be tossed in to hopefully bounce up the right way to take care of that shield. This plays Shin a little bit further. The man is already on low HP. He's on 25 exact now. Almost everything will be taken care of him. If another grenade gets a little bit too close, that is him done for.
Wow, a minute on, and Royboy's trying to do as much work above. Just saw a sliver of somebody at the end there, but it's Rin that actually strikes first, and Shin's able to get his double for the round. Still with low health, there's the feet of somebody, just pulls away at the right second, but it's Woogieman on the backside, digs his way in, coated, strikes as the iron is hot too. They played with the idea of getting a plant for a second, then realized they're in this 2 versus 2 situation, going for a big rotate round on the opposite side, and that's going to buy them a second of time. Look at the setup though, ready to go. The spray comes out over the top, buys themselves a bit of an escape here onto the pantry side, and they have the flashes to give them a couple extra seconds here. Sprayed across the middle and the meat of the site itself as they try and drive their way through, but Afro is able to find one. Woogieman with the cover on the opener. Another EE1D is going to pop off. 30 seconds left, and he's going for a big pull back. They're going to play around with the audio here. They cannot quite long arm this, so they have to going to be a little bit tricky with the pings coming through. There's another flash over the top. Type on. He gets caught by Woogieman, and DK drive themselves to map point.
It's very bold there to go for the back to the wall approach that the Iruni put up. And it is going to be Damwon on a match point. They have the opportunity to secure themselves the playoff spot here today, and together with that, Fanatics as well. And the timeout will be called, and rightfully so, by FAV. They had a good opportunity. They had the opening kill. But the execute of Damwon in the end there was perfect. They tanked the 40 damage from the laser gate. They just ran through it. And we're like, we need to get this pace in. They got the pace in. They set themselves up for a post-plant position, even though it was, well, you cannot say scrappy, but it was improvised. Let's just put it up like that. Because it wasn't prepared before. They had to go quick. They had to move quick. and they made it work. And FAV had no one left on the side to stop a plant from happening. And as a result, we found ourselves at Damwon Kia, even with a sub, because Katsang is currently, well, unfortunately sick. They do manage to almost, right now, secure themselves their playoff spot.
Happy Bastille Day.
That's why we do this, by the way. Oh, sorry. Oh, never mind. I tried. I failed twice. Let's go back into the game, because that one is underway again. The timeout has been finished. And we're heading to 6-3 as I'm getting compliments from production.
Okay. AVG, the site that you were able to take, and you took it quite well, but it was built behind a very aggressive swing down the bottom of the main stairs. It was the catch on the corner of the wall, as you saw and you spotted the grenade. If that had gone where it was supposed to, the Zofia might have survived. They might have been able to build behind it, and worst case, even if the Zofia had died, you would have still been able to at least get something out of that exchange. One less body in the staircase, and maybe one of those late bodies that tried to push would have been able to get there as well, would have been able to have the success that they tried to sort of build behind that mantle a little bit later. But it's all whodunit and whatnot. The big change right now is who's that? It's Monty on the board for the first time in the showdown. They're going to utilize it, or try to break through what was a lot of utility and sort of push against the wild swings that FAV like to build behind.
Definitely so. And it allows you to force players out as well. It is a good shepherding tool, we say. As players will just move. It's an unnatural situation, as I described earlier this week by Pengu. Not many players know how to deal with it properly because you barely face it. And especially if it's a very oppressive one, where you get really pushed to the limit, and you know that if you move, you'll get shot, but if you don't, you'll be knifed by that shield. You need to do something, and that sometimes creates a bit of panic inside of these teams. There's a lot of the flashes again being used. They want to get rid of that shield on the top of main stairs again. They are doing the exact same routine. However, the big change is that this time, Royboy will be playing with a Monty and has the opportunity of moving up the main stairs. It is quite dangerous, however, if you move up a staircase as a shield, because your head could be exposed just a little bit. So he has to be very careful. He needs to make sure that the rest of Damwon Kia is able to join him and assist him in the push.
That's it. That's the change I said. They want to try and force them back. I think they realized that there wasn't a huge amount of loose play behind them, so if they can just sort of slip this Monty up as they've done, look at all of the costly utility that's otherwise gone away from them. The C4 does a lot of damage, but he's well trained enough to be able to pull back and make sure that they have the cover. That one does a little bit more damage. Drops K-Razor in the meantime. They're downed on the stairs, and they're going to just stay there for a second. I think they were concerned about the cover and the swing that was going to come across the top of Study, but the push has otherwise actually driven itself all the way underneath. They've now lost that open body. Finally, K-Razor is going to try and crawl away to some semblance of safety as more grenades attempt to get the lockdown here. That is the big pass they've got past, but there is K-Razor gone. The second grenade was the pickup. Another E1D. They want to build behind the movement and the momentum that they've taken already. More utility has been dropped and removed from the push itself. The trade-off here, that Monty's gone, but in my books has already done the job that they wanted them to do, to push up that main stairs that was otherwise such a problem for them before. Yes, with one more, pushes DK even closer. A swing round on red doesn't quite come out the way that they want it to, and over the strategy table, there's a drone, but there's a body just waiting patiently on the opposite side, shepherded off the site at this point. And then there's another fight around the back of red that also goes against DK. Rin, who again hasn't been able to stick into this fight in the game the same way they usually does, but the drive comes all the way through from Yas, who otherwise has been tucked on the corner. Shin with one more. That's 10 seconds. He's in the middle of a firefight between two. Gets a quad. Can he end this game on an ace for the win for DK? Hopped up on the bar. Can't quite find it. No diffuser in hand. They're just waiting off on the side of red. They know they don't have to be there, so they're not gonna be.
Yes, with the quad kill there, unfortunately, Woogiman was not able to pick up the kill onto the stairs earlier because that would have bought them some extra time. Same goes for the Zofia, of course. We get one round closer to FAV pushing for an OT. And then the question is, did the Monty indeed do his job? Well, 2 nitros used to get the kill. Not a utility used. Also going to be the instant trade due to the team kill that came through out of it. But that, of course, needed 2 grenades to be confirmed as well. So a lot of utility used on the side of Damwon KIA to try and secure that 1 kill. Even though a simple drone would have been able to do the job. 6-4. We're heading back to Trophy Statuary. Remember the site where they basically gave away a free kill onto the smoke and a free rotation into the site. Don't see a much different kind of setup. Not a castle that could be used to block off that line of sight if you want to go for that rotation. Shield again plays in the exact same position. So I'm wondering if they're going to make that rotation again or if they're going to think about it twice this time around.
You assume they think about it twice.
There it is. It's just ankle holes for now.
It's just ankle holes for now.
Never mind.
Nope, there's the full open. There's the full... Okay, they're going for it twice. And the changes here is that they've got a Frost this time. They've also sort of pulled away from the Echo and put K-Razor on the Maestro instead, which I guess gives you a little bit more attentiveness towards the firefight and the pace, but with them still sort of handing over Astro potentially, they don't look like they're going to try and take the fight from the opener that instantly. Shin was just creeping under the window. Didn't want to get caught by a rogue spray that came through. And here, look at this. It's again another quick pace from DK. They're angling towards the same push they did before.
Yes, just does that his drone, and he bounced it back all the way off the roof again, so you had to go recover it. They wanted to go quick, but unfortunately will not be able to go that quick. Sugerman getting his drone in. Bathroom will be clear. Have the opportunity of quickly putting someone inside there. Just have to be careful that the frost mats, of course, are not going to be catching any of your players off guard, because that would be, well, of course, not lethal straight away, because you have the opportunity to go for the pickup, but it would be very unfortunate if that is how you lose 80 of your hit points this early on in the game.
They haven't lent into the firefights at the opening. And this, for me, is definitely preferential. They haven't tried to be hyper-aggressive on the opener. They have those sort of bulletproofs stacked up on the corners of the swing. They have the bubbles of Maestro offering some support as well. They're going to try and open up a little bit more width to the wall, and Shin tries to take that moment to swing around. Yas and them both suffer quite a huge amount. 2 players that have been pretty important. Another spray, another just a transfer of the body back towards the opposite side as an E1D pops off. They didn't get the mute jammer, so they instead have to try and drive their way up a little bit further. Rin's underneath. They don't want to get caught out, though, by the potential of the movement and the rotation. Obviously, a lot of focus has come through, and with just over a minute left, you can see Typon is going for the movement here. There was also another body that was on the watch, drops the drone and pulls back, and pulls even further back, decides not to take the fight at all with the time that we have.
Minute 10 left on that clock. Royboy will now know one is on side of those Astro stairs. Tosses in a grenade, and that is right on Typon. Beautifully tossed in. They're trying to go for the refract straight away with that Alda. It fires a lot of shots, but Yas comes around the corner, gets traded out by number 2. A 4-on-3 situation with 53 seconds left on that clock. FAV does not have a lot of players inside. It's just number 2. Halfro and Shin are close. But they need to pick up the kill on Rin, because as soon as Rin starts moving up on the red stairs and picks up these kills, it's round and game over for FAV.
Well, this is it. This is the important trade in the moment. Rin creeps up. Are they aware? It doesn't seem like they are. Rin gets the double. And now they're going for this final rotate. Number 2 has dropped off, popped underneath onto the red to try and get underneath. Coated is going to stick it in the meantime. I'll go for the attempt, but Rin's holding the angle. The spray comes through. It goes their way. Goes for the second, but it's Coated that locks it off. DK, with the last-minute replacement, gets themselves the full 3 points secured and gets themselves eyed towards the top 4. Not only them, Fnatic are now also confirmed in that top 4 based on this result. And FAV are still fighting and scrambling for that precious 4th spot.
Yeah, they definitely are. Damwon KIA do what they needed to do, even with the substitute in. Royboy, who manages to drop 10 kills. It's absolutely insane. He had some very impactful rounds right here, and that is surely going to be broken down any second now when we go back to the desk to talk about, well, the strategies that were employed, maybe the setups that were maybe a little bit wrong at times on the side of FAV. But either way, let's toss it over.
Don't assume what we're going to talk about, Hap. Honestly, what is wrong with